So welcome to yet another AwareNow Unplugged, and we have an Olympian amongst us, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Lex Gillette. And wow, I'm just going to let Lex do the talking in a moment, just to show you how wow it is. And he's an ambassador for disability, and he has so many things which he brings to the party. And we're joining him in California, and I've got a little bit of green eye given that I am in Quebec and there's a bit of snow here, but we've put that difference aside, and I'm going to borrow Lex's climate for the next half an hour or so. So over to you, Lex. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate it. It's a great day here in San Diego, so I'm happy.
He's a happy chappy. Let's see if we can boost that. Tell us a little bit about you, Lex, before we get into things. Just set the scene for us a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So even though I'm in San Diego, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm from the East Coast. As a kid in Raleigh, I was doing everything that your average 8-year-old child would be doing, playing outside with friends, video games, riding bicycles, having a good time. And there was one night where I was inside of the bathroom, inside of the bathtub, getting ready for bed, started to notice that my sight was blurred randomly. My mom, she had thought maybe I had gotten something in my eyes from playing outside earlier in the day. So we took some water, we cleaned my eyes out, which made it feel better, but it didn't clear my sight. We went to the doctor, had an examination. They told me that I was suffering from retina detachments. That leads to a string of 10 operations that I had on my eyes to try and fix the retina detachments. And I had all 10 of those operations in 1 year. After the last operation, that 10th one, the doctors said that there wasn't anything else they could do to help my sight. And they said that I would eventually become blind. From there, it was go home, go through your normal routine. You go to sleep at night, you wake up the next morning. Each day you wake up, see a little less than what you do the day before, until one day you wake up and you can't see anything.
Wow. I mean, just to sort of now I've sort of let Lex introduce himself. Let me tell you about a little bit about Lex. He is a Olympian long jumper. Not only he's a bit good, this guy. First of all, in 2004, when he was only 19, he got a silver medal at the Paralympic Games. Not satisfied with that, in 2019, a gold medal for a long jump. Current record world holder of the long jump, 22 feet. Now, I have got a measure. I went downstairs before I spoke to Les and measured this out on the floor. And let's tape measure. And he does 12 foot, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2 of these. And he could take off in my front room and land somewhere in my back porch. So amazing. 4 times world champion, 18 times national champion. Also, if you haven't already worked out from his butter smooth tone of voice, a motivational speaker, singer, songwriter, and columnist for Awareness Ties. A beautiful phrase, which I will just mention because it means so much. No need for sight when you have a vision. That's just extraordinary. And
the way you were reading out, it didn't really sound like it was me. I'm like, man, this is so wild.
I fact checked. It's you. I got the videos now. But you know, where you've taken us to is to the sort of the very beginning, and I've come in a lot later. That bit in between where you're such a humble guy. Oh, you go home and you see less and less and less. Now, the anguish and everything that must have been, and I've read in your columns the history and stuff. What does that take from someone who has something like that, where they've effectively been told they reached the end of the road? What then comes through, Lex? What happens?
I think that, I mean, when you're in those really difficult situations, of course, you think about feeling different emotions. You feel the anguish, the sadness. You feel like you might be isolated or disconnected from everyone else, given the fact that they might not have the same experiences as you do. And then once you find yourself in a kind of a new place, it can be a little off-putting a bit because again, imagine yourself being the only blind or visually impaired child in the class,
Mm,
and there's this disconnect between you and the other students, more so from a social standpoint,
yeah,
I would say. And I mean, I think that's the battle that we all as columnists and as ambassadors, you you get where I'm coming from
yeah. Oh,
with, with that. Uh so
absolutely. And I've seen that, in one of your columns, you wrote that the brightest light is after something like that. So
yeah,
I love it. I love it. Well, look, I'm going to go unplug now and go into a random mode, and we're going to come back and really dive now into what makes Lex, because we've had a little peeky, and I've got here my expensive props, no expense spared here, a little bingo wheel, which I'm just about to pull some numbers out of.
okay.
We have random numbers 1 to 75. And the first number we're going to pull out for the random round here is a number 9. So you ready, Lex?
I am ready.
Here we go. What was one of your happiest moments in your life?
One of my happiest moments, I would say, when I won my first world championship and gold medal. That was at the 2013 World Championships in Lyon, France. For those first few years of my career, I want to say we had 2 world championships prior to that. I was coming up just short. So to finally go to a competition and to be the athlete who stood at the top of the podium, that felt really nice.
And not quitting, because it could have quite
Yeah,
easily, and I mean, I'm sure many times in your career there is that temptation, but you just kept with it, kept with it, kept
yeah.
with it. You painted such a great picture there. I'm there sharing at the moment, cheering you on the top step. So let's see where we go next. Number 45. Let's have a look, see what question 45 has got in store for you. At what age did you become an adult?
uh maybe like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Let me
If you
see.
haven't reached it, it's fine by us.
uh you know what? I mean, I'm going to say, I mean, I'm going to spin that and say I haven't reached that point. The reason I say that I have not is, you look at kids, you look at children, and you really appreciate how their imagination works, and you appreciate how resilient they are. And I think about me as a child going through blindness versus being an adult. And I'm certainly glad that I experienced it when I was a child, because of the reason that I just mentioned. Kids are so resilient, and they know what they know. Whereas when you get a little older and you're established in life, you might have a family, you might have a job, kids, all of those types of things. And to lose your sight at that point, I think would be really, really challenging, and would put you in and of course, anyone could experience any type of anxiety
Mm,
or depression from that type of trauma.
mm,
However, I just think that as a kid, I think that the journey would be a little less severe as someone who's, say, 40, 41, 42, established in life. To have the lights go off on you essentially would be devastating.
Yeah.
That didn't that technically didn't answer your question.
I
But what I
I
will
love
say,
the arc.
yeah, but what I will say, like, I'll circle back to what I originally was saying, and that is, I appreciate the fact that, like, the children just have just their outlook on life, and just very much, take a risk, or it's not really scared of anything, and I would much rather continue to have that type of outlook on life versus when you become an adult and things become a little more static, and you
Yeah.
know more, and you yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer, and it's great to know that you are still yet to reach your adulthood. I am
Yeah.
very happy about that. No, I think you're right. It young kids, although any injury to anyone any age, but a young kid, you're right, they've got this innate art to be able to deal and just get on with things, and that's what I think staggers us so much. So no, brilliant answer. My goodness me, I'm gonna get there. You knocked that one out the park.
Okay,
on the bell, that one.
I'll take that. I like that.
Number 17. Let's see where we are with number 17. What is the best prank you have ever pulled on someone, or someone has ever pulled on you?
Oh, the best prank. This is a very good question. I would say, oh my gosh.
I'm tapping into this childhood energy now. That's where it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. So my college roommates and there was this one semester where I think I had left to go out of town somewhere, and while I was gone, it had snowed. So it was snowing outside, and they make this huge, I think one of my roommates, he makes this huge snowball, and he puts it in the freezer, keeps it there so that when I return, I can have some snow to hold on to. By that point, it had all dried up. So I had this snowball in my hand, and where my mind went was snowball fight. So we're literally inside of the apartment, and I tossed the snowball and hit somebody, and from there, it just becomes, it's debauchery.
That's a good prank. I like that one.
Yeah, they were just wanting to save the memory for me. I was focused more on, all right,
what are you going to
let's
do with
get
it?
some
Fun
paper.
time.
Yeah. All right, we just got to melt somehow, so let's just throw it around and watch it disintegrate.
I love that. That's awesome. I can imagine that moment where it was like, look at that. Oh, it's really snowball fight. It's like, good man. They are the child. The child runs deep in you, sir. What can I say?
Yes.
Number 54. What's something you think everyone should try at least once?
Something everyone should try at least once. I would say you have to experience what it's like to compete in my shoes. So we have this experience that I'll facilitate from time to time, where we take a group of people, we put the blindfold on them. So for everyone who might not be aware, we wear a blindfold in competition to ensure that there's a level playing field, ensuring that sight is not a competitive advantage. So for those who have their eyesight on a daily basis, we'll take them through what it's like to run on the track, what it's like to be on that long jump runway, and give them that opportunity to experience what it's like to work with a guide, someone who's assisting you on the track and training in competition. And yeah, I mean that experience for a lot of people is very it's very amazing, and it's an incredible way to really show provide that perspective. I think people walk away from that experience with a new set of new set of eyes, if you will.
I think the empathy connection there is insane because,
Yeah.
and I've seen in one of your articles where actually you missed the pit.
Yeah.
And that was the one where your mum was talking in the video, and you know, you're not holding anything back when you compete. I know you're a ferocious competitor, and you're all in on that. If anyone hasn't read that, that's in the Mayday version edition, and it's quite amazing to see how much you don't hold anything back. Where people who may have come onto the track who are new, they're always going to be holding something back. But you've gone past that. You've exceeded that limitation, and yeah, that wherever, even if you miss the pit, you're still going to give it 110%.
Yeah.
You know,
Always.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it's such a good thing to get people to walk in your shoes, because people will forget what you'll say, but they will never forget how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And that's a really important level. Love that, man. Love that. Number 32. Let's see what number 30. We will get on with some serious stuff eventually. Don't worry. If you were a superhero, what powers would you have? Now, you've got to ignore that the fact you are a superhero. Let's pretend for a minute you're not, okay?
I would want to be invisible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would want to be invisible, show up in a few rooms, hear some conversation,
Not with
sneak
a snowball,
around.
because you could be the phantom snowballer there. They wouldn't even see you
Yes,
coming.
exactly. Exactly.
I love that. I love that. Invisibility is a good one. I like that. And in a very playful way. So that's, I'm getting the measure of you now. That's it. Number 39. What is the quickest way to your heart?
The quickest way to my heart would be with food. um I think that, not in all seriousness, even though that is a serious answer, I think the quickest way to my heart is through that's a very good question.
This is going to be
I'm
one where you're going to think about all day. You do realize
Oh
that.
yeah, for sure. It's gonna be that one where it's like, I'm gonna give you an answer, and then I'm gonna think like 4 hours, 5 hours later, and be like, oh man, I have a better one than this.
Well, what we can do is we get you, when you ever think one, text one in, and then we'll put that in the notes as well. How about
Okay.
that? That sounds like a deal.
Yeah. Nah, I would say, I mean, the quickest way into my heart is seeing someone who, I would just say, the magic of like growth and development, and specifically, I mean, it could be so many different things. I think I talk a lot about vision and that ability to see things before they exist, being able to see things beyond the horizon. And that really pulls on my heart a lot of times, because that's like, it's like magic. You're literally in a certain space. You may not have the things that you want. You may not be in the crowd that you want, but you figure out you have a vision, you have a plan, and you work relentlessly to bring that into fruition. And so it's beautiful, because you could be sitting in an empty space one day, and the fact that you were so tenacious and relentless in achieving whatever that vision was, that empty space now becomes a space that is full of full of a lot of different things. It could be, it could be additional people. It could be, an office building. It could be that business that you saw 10 years prior, and now it's an actual door that you walk into, and chairs that you can sit down, and employees that you have, and payroll that you're running every 2 weeks. And so those types of things, I can sit there and listen and smile the entire time, because for me, not being able to see anything, I realized that at the end of the day, it's really about that vision, whether you can see or not, whether you have disability or not. It's that vision, being able to see things before they exist, and then having the the power, the courage to go after that, and to turn something that was only a thought into something that could be a physical thing. And that those types of things really make my heart smile.
It's magic, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
and it's kind of what everyone. I mean, there's a lot of why readers come and read the stories is because there are things which are transformations which are going on, and everyone loves an underdog, eh?
Yeah.
Everyone loves an underdog. I mean, and so I think being cast as an underdog or in that type of role is brilliant, because actually when you win, it's so much sweeter.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Oh yeah.
Number 63, final question, this random one, but let's go out on a good one here. Number 63, imagine you have your own late night talk show. Who would you invite as your first guest?
My first guest would be Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Yes, my first guest would be Jamie Foxx. I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan. Very talented person, from the jokes, the comedian side of things, from the music aspect to him being an actor. And he's a very interesting person. I've listened to so many different podcasts, so many different shows that he's been on. And yeah, I'm a huge fan. So I would definitely have him on and interview him.
What a top guest to have on. I mean, you're right. He can do everything, even impersonations.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do an impersonation of Tom Cruise and things
Yes.
like he is a magnificent guy. And well, what a great first guest. Well, there we are. Jamie, when you're watching, you know where you're going to be needed, and very soon. This is a vision which is coming. So
exactly.
there we are. Let's now dive into what awareness means. So what brought you, how did you find your way to the Awareness Ties family?
How did I feel like there might have been a connection on LinkedIn potentially. That might have been how it started. And then we had a conversation. I probably talked to Allie. And of course you talk to Allie. I mean, you're looped in, you're locked in. She's going to make sure that you're a part of the family, and just a awesome person with an amazing fervor for just awareness and disability awareness, disability rights, so many different causes. I mean, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. So yeah, it started off as that connection on LinkedIn to the conversation. And once we had that conversation, it was like you couldn't turn the opportunity down to be a part of the fun.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you're right. And being an ambassador for disability as well. It's a growing tribe and family, and it's exciting to be part of the growth, as it were. So it's kind of like being in your vision, which you said, where you sit in an empty space, and as things come towards you, and it's certainly not a journey which has stopped yet. Tell me, if I say the word awareness, what does the word awareness mean to you?
I would say mentality. The reason I would say that is when you become more aware, your mind is being open and exposed to new things, a new perspective, new ideas, a new strategy, a new structure, a new outlook. And that is what I want, and what I'm pretty sure a lot of people who live a similar experience as I do probably want the same thing. We want people to be more aware,
Yeah.
so that that awareness will help drive the decisions that are made moving forward.
Love that. I love that. And it does all start at that one little spark in the head of being able to actually see, okay, there's something different here than what I initially thought. So no, it's great meaning. Talk to us now about you're the ambassador for disability, one of the ambassadors. What does that mean to you? What have you been, what is your role, and what are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, it means a lot to be an ambassador for disability, and disability rights, and just bringing more awareness to disability. It means a lot to be able to use the platform that I've been given to share my experiences, and share them in a way that will hopefully educate others and make others aware, to let them know what is possible, to let them know what things are misconceptions, to let them know how they should act when they meet someone who has a disability. Certainly want people to go into maneuver through life as comfortable as possible. And one of the things that really makes people uncomfortable is if they are exposed to maybe a person who has a disability, and now they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, how, like, do I need to assist this person? How do I assist them? Am I going to say something that's offensive? And they just think so many different things. So if I can provide some insight, awareness, and education that will help them feel a lot more comfortable, and just help them feel like this is just this isn't anything that is astronomically different than what you would deal with on a daily basis. You have to be more aware, and kind of change your mentality when stepping into these scenarios, these different scenarios. If I can be that person to help someone be a little more educated, help them feel a lot more comfortable, then that's what I want to do. And also help them to, they might end up holding a certain job role, a title, where we're going to need them to be aware, so that the decisions that they make, they can ensure that they're including everyone and making things accessible for all.
Beautiful. And I'm gonna blow your trumpet a little bit now, Lex, because you were only out hiking one day, and you climbed San Miguel Mountain, and when asked, just hiking, no big deal. Jumped out skydiving, man, skydiving. Most people's huge fear, and in the article he said, I don't skydive, and your mate wouldn't let you rest until you'd done it.
Yeah.
And also and in the United edition about the intersection of being black and blind.
Yeah.
And huge awareness, eye-opening, but done in a very humble way. So if you haven't checked out any of Lex's articles at the moment, just in this short time, you're not going to get the full measure, but if you start reading in, you're going to see that this guy, it's stamped through him like rock, that the awareness and the education. And I think certainly, I from what I've read, you've got a gift at being able to make people feel comfortable.
I would hope so. If you're around me, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be relaxed and chill. I'm a very relaxed and chill person. I'm not, and when you think about, you hear people say, oh, okay, well, this like brings me anxiety, or, this causes me to, and I'm saying this very, very loosely right now. I am not that. I'm very much like chill. Uh, you know, that's my personality. So when people are around me, I want them to feel the same way. I don't want you to feel like you're walking on eggshells or
Yeah,
you're on pins and needles. Um, you know,
it's
it's not
good.
a
I
big
mean,
deal.
you know, and that hence why Jamie Foxx would be right at home, my friend. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yes. Yes. I don't want him to feel like he should hold back certain jokes. I want to hear if you got a good blind joke, I want to hear it. Like I'm not going to get offended. The only thing that would offend me is if the blind joke was a total fail, if it was corny. Then we can flush it down the toilet. But
yeah,
yeah, I
make
want to hear
them,
some funny stuff.
yeah, go big or go home type
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, please.
Well, that's great. Well, talk us through now. Was there, I mean, I'm sure there's been many, but was there any one sort of aha unplugged moment which you suddenly went king and everything sort of just suddenly clicked and made sense?
Just overall, like
Overall, well, you can go wherever you fancy in this, whatever sort of comes up to you in your mind first.
you know what? Probably just the creation of my mantra, the no
Mm,
need for sight when you have a vision. I was probably a year or two removed from college, didn't have any money, broke college student. I was trying to figure out what was going to be the next move. I knew that I wanted to continue competing, but I also knew that the amount of money that I was making and the opportunities, the lack of opportunities that were coming across my desk at that time, I told myself there has to be another way. I got to be able to change this narrative, and so created the mantra, which stemmed from the realization that at the end of the day, it's not the sight that determines our success. It's our ability to see that vision, to not only see it, but then to develop a plan and to connect with the best people, the right people, and to do everything in your power to bring that vision into fruition.
yeah.
Once I had created that, it was like everything else fell in line. That mantra, that idea of a vision, that began to drive my actions and my decisions daily. So I was seeking out people um, to help me become a better speaker.
Mm,
I was finding people to help me, connect with brands that could be sponsors for me in my athletic journey, and everything just started to come into focus.
mm.
So yeah, like once that happened, you would I would argue you if you were like, oh, okay, well, you're blind. Because at that point I felt like it was no holds barred. I was
Mm,
able to, like, my vision, my ability to see beyond the horizon was untouchable. It was like
mm.
everything, I just began to see everything very clearly.
It's that their limitations are their limitations rather than yours, because if you can see enough for both of you basically. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I was going to say, that is a phenomenal quote, and one which I have actually referred to more than once when people seem to be in a hole when they're struggling and can't see a way out, as they say. At that point, I say, well, look, listen, there's a gentleman I know, and then I mention your quote, and to see that transformation. And that's what you were talking about, that magical moment where you see the lights go on. Is there a quote which you, apart from your mantra, is there a quote that sort of jumps out which has inspired you at the same time?
Yeah, it's a Muhammad Ali quote, and he says that the man who has no imagination has no wings. And that's certainly, that's not verbatim. I think I'm pretty close, but the man with no imagination has no wings. And
And yeah, I mean,
that's super powerful to me. Your imagination takes you to places that it takes you to a space and a place where you aren't quite located right
mm,
now.
mm,
You're there mentally, but that's all you need. I think that once your mind attaches to this thought or belief or space that it believes that it can go, then
That's
your body follows.
it's like going to the place where what if doesn't apply anymore,
Yeah.
because you can build it. And I mean, Napoleon Hill and all, and a lot of the others, you know, things happen twice. First of all, they happen in your mind, and then they happen in reality. So what you can believe, you can conceive. So
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali had some great ones, and that's a really
Oh
good
man.
one. And oh my goodness me. We're going to bring it now to a close, but not before, because I know that you're a songwriter and you're a musician, as in song. What is one of your favorite songs and why?
One of my favorite songs, I would say, is it's called The Test of Time. One of my really good friends, he calls it Mercedes Drive. And so it's just really inspirational. It's one of those things where it sounds like I see the road, Mercedes Drive. I see my plane. Now I'm gonna fly. I see the stars, grab with both hands, and I'ma hold it high to brighten where you glance. So it's very like, very, your imagination could just run wild. And then like the remaining part, it's like I run the trail through storm and hail. They try to break me. I'm tough as nails. I am a reason. I am a sail to lift you up when you feel like you're going to fail. And I just like that one. I remember when I was sitting down writing that and I sang it for the first time. I was actually at the Olympic Training Center, and our housekeepers came in, and so they would love to clean the room when I would be on the piano.
Mm.
And so one of the ladies had asked me to play a song, and I played that one, and it, you know, it sounded like she was getting a little misty eyed. And then I had let my guide Wesley, my really good friend and brother, let him hear it, and he was like, man, I really like, I love that.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing. It
yeah.
really is. And you know, the lyrics are powerful, my friend. And you haven't got such a shabby singing voice, you know that?
Oh, no, I appreciate it. Hey, and it's early in the morning too, so I'm glad I didn't have any glitches.
Well, you see, look, live, and it worked off, played out beautifully. Beautiful, my friend. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us today, and for sort of letting us have an insight into your world and finding out a little bit more about you and what you're doing. Please follow Lex and see where his imagination is taking him, because this guy has not finished his dreams and has not finished his journey. And this is just the beginning. And I'm delighted to have been able to share some moments with you. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
And finally, did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. Absolutely.
There we go. That's all we need to know. These interviews, if they're not fun, they ain't worth doing. So so thank you very much, Awareness Tribe. Stay tuned so we can see some more AwareNows. But from Lex over and sunny San Diego and myself, goodbye for now, and see you soon.